Today's announcement that we're here for is very unique, and I want to share for anybody who wants to meet Lucy, our little rescue dog over here that Kelly in our marketing department has rescued a few months ago. I have a Lucy that we rescued last fall, and Gizmo over here, who I think is still looking for a home.
Yes.
Yes.
That's why we're here today.
That's why we're here. So we want to recognize our furry friends.
Impression.
Yes.
But that's why we're here.
So today's announcement is really a result of, a decade's worth of work and beyond. Our partnership with Staffworks and its founder and president, Anita Vitullo, right here to my left, began at around 2006. And when the Staffworks Charitable Fund was created as a donor advised fund at the time, and under Anita's leadership, and philanthropy, and her passion, if you haven't figured this out yet, for caring for the animals in our community, it became part of Staffworks' DNA. Staffworks really is behind, the fund, the impetus for bringing attention and resources to our animal care community. So it's no surprise that after all of this time, that over $1.4 million since 2006 has been given out through the Staffworks Fund under Oneida and her team. So that's a big chunk of change if you think about the amount of money that's gone just for our animal care community, which is really critical because they are usually under-resourced. There's not a lot of funding streams out there for them. So this has become a critical resource for our animal care community that's important. But it wasn't enough for Anita. When I started about 3 years ago, Anita really, she came to us and said, I need to make sure the future is insured for the animal care community. I want to create a $10 million fund. And this was about 3 years ago. She probably had this number in her head further before that. But through her commitment and Staffworks' commitment in their whole work strategy and their whole philanthropy around their organization is committed to animals. She has become one of the most unique investors in our community because through her vision, that $10 million goal, that mark, was made just recently. So Anita, through Staffworks, is the only living funder with us that has a $10 million fund in our community, targeted for just the animals. I have to say that Staffworks and Anita, in particularly, live this mission. The word passion is thrown around, dedication, but what goes behind those words is really incredible to watch Anita in motion and her team. It's not enough to create the fund. It's not enough to write that check. It's not enough to say that we want to include all of those animal care communities that Staffworks geography includes in their footprint, which is multiple counties. It needed to be more. She wanted to make sure that our organizations are as healthy as possible. She's been a volunteer, she's been a board member, she's been engaged at every level with these animal care organizations, and she wants to continue that work. So it's a new age of philanthropy for us. Yes, the scale of this gift at $10 million is unique and should be celebrated in so many ways. It is not something you see across the nation. In cities our size, that you see a donor at this level, and not just the donor size of $10 million, but the dedication to a single focus of work and taking care of our animals. So the passion's there, the work ethic is there, and you know what? The high standards are there. So Anita expects a lot. She really feels that, I think when you run a successful company like Staffworks, you're going to be at a certain caliber of personality, and she brings that right with her as a donor. She holds us responsible and accountable, and as an organization, we learn from her as much as she learns from us. So we're really grateful and truly grateful for the partnership that our organization, our leadership, our board of trustees, our staff are all gaining from our partnership with Anita. So for that, I thank you. So, without further ado, again, today's announcement is really about celebrating this milestone fund and our partnership with Staffworks. I think you'll hear more of the passion coming right out of the mouth of Anita. So without further ado, our passion champion for animals in our community, Anita Vitullo.
Those that know me would never invite me to speak about animals because I never stop talking about animals. So thank you for your patience in coming today and supporting this important mission. But you know, we're really not here today about the Community Foundation, about Staffworks, and about Anita Vitullo, and about a $10 million gift. We're here today to get Gizmo a home. Gizmo has been sitting in a shelter at Stephen Swan Humane Society since February 2016. I want to use this platform to get Gizmo out there and get him a home. So please, all of you media people here, make sure that your coverage includes Gizmo in an appeal to get him rehomed. He's 8 years old, he's full of energy, he loves to run, he's great with people, and he prefers to be an only child. He's good with children and animals, as long as the animal doesn't invade his space. I know that feeling. On the other hand, this is the tale of two tales. We have Gizmo here that's been waiting since 2016 in one of our shelters for a home. And we're going to make a public appeal for that today. Right, media people? And then we have, on the other hand, a success story. We have Lucy, who appeared at our telethon in January. And Kelly spotted her, fell in love, and Lucy was one of the lucky ones who got rescued and didn't sit very long in a cage. So as you can see, that's a bonded pair there now, and she's lucky. So we have a success story from our funding, and we have a waiting success story from our funding. But the big success is that Gizmo found his way to a no-kill local shelter like Stephen Swan Humane Society, because not all communities are that fortunate. So today, how do you get to $10 million? Well, first of all of the money comes from Staffworks, the profits of Staffworks. And our philanthropic mission is to support animal organizations, not-for-profit animal organizations, in all of the communities that we have branch offices, which we have 9 now. But it still takes a big engine to generate those profits to direct. First of all, everybody has to be on board. And at Staffworks, we are bonded in our mission of philanthropy for animal advocacy. And we have here today representing our 9 branch offices, because we can't shut them down, everybody travel in, because we need those profits. I've got thousands of hungry mouths to feed out there. So representing Staffworks today is Mike Sturr. He's a branch manager from our Utica office, and Todd Concili, our VP of Business Operations, and Jen Williams, who is our Human Resources Director, and Christine Lawrence, who is our Business Development Director. So you can just stand up so they can see a representative team of our 9 branch offices here with us today. When people are hired for Staffworks, they go through a stringent interview process, and one of the questions is, do you own an animal? Where did you get the animal from? Do you love animals? Do you embrace animals? Will you work every day on behalf of animals? And these people live that mission, and that's the kind of team we have. Secondly, no one person can run a company. It takes a lot of knowledge, and I certainly don't profess to have it all. So a team to get us there. On board with me from day one have been some very brilliant and valuable people. We have Vince Tramasera here, our CFO. Vince from FSS Group. Don't be shy, Vince. And Mike Fitzgerald, my CPA, and who has provided immeasurable guidance throughout the years through thick and thin. And I thank you both for that. Also, I had this idea that I wanted to take a lot of capital out of my company without giving up my company, so I could have the ability to continue generating profits and growing the Staffworks Fund. How do you do that? What you do is you bring a visionary banking team on board, tell them what you want to achieve, and they'll give you a plan to accomplish it. And that's exactly what M&T Bank did for me. Dave Menzelman, Regional President of the Central New York Region for M&T, and Pete Belden, my Commercial Lending Officer. Stand up, Pete. And Dave, thank you so very much. Literally, without M&T Bank, I could not have raised that kind of capital. So, cannot thank you enough. And the fund is going to continue to grow, so be ready for more asks. Also on that team, you know, nothing can happen without a lawyer in the room. So FX Matt has been our facilitator, our mergers and acquisition attorney, our business and corporate attorney, and for that, FX, love you. So you assemble a brilliant team, you put it all together, you say, here's what I want to do, and they go for it. So, what else can I tell you? 10 million to start. We're going to grow that. Where did it all come from? All from the profits of Staffworks. I'm not exactly an overnight success story. I've been in the staffing industry for 39 years, working full-time for 50 with no break in employment, and have still got a lot of steam left in my engine. I plan on continuing till we get this fund up a lot higher than it is, because it's not enough. And why it's not enough isn't because I'm ungrateful for $10 million. It's because, do the math. $10 million at a 5% spending ratio is only going to give me $500,000 a year. 5% spending ratio to preserve the corpus so the fund lives in perpetuity. So given 5 counties, 15 animal organizations we currently support throughout our 5-county region that we service as Staffworks, it's simply not enough money. So spread the word that that 10 million is insufficient, and our local shelters and animal organizations still need the public's help. Why? Animal organizations receive no state or federal funding. They're totally dependent on whatever local support they get, and I know what they get from local counties, villages, towns, and cities. It is meager, because every town, city, village, county, by law, has to provide some animal care for abandoned stray animals. So what they do is contract with the good-hearted folks that run the not-for-profit animal organizations. And we take those animals in because we don't want them abandoned, and we don't want a high-kill shelter in our region like other markets have. Some cities don't have animal shelters, and animals go into a city facility where they're held for a limited number of days and killed. And we don't want that in our communities. So I support no-kill shelters only, which all of our communities have. So when you look at that and the budget they need to do that, and you look at what they get from our local government entities, it's insufficient. Every animal they take in, they operate at a loss, no matter what funding they get locally. So I encourage you to support them in asking our government officials for more money in their budgets. And I encourage you all to spread the word that they still need giving. I don't want the word to get out, oh, animals have $10 million in the community, we don't need to write a check. They certainly do. And whether you volunteer, foster, adopt, just remember to spay and neuter all your pets and spread the word to do that, because the only viable equation for no kill is no birth. No birth equals no kill. And that's our future endeavor. We want to create a high volume, low cost spay and neuter center modeled after the ASPCA Humane Alliance program to reduce our animal populations, to reduce the animal suffering, to reduce the animals that cross the thresholds of our local shelters. Our shelters are packed to the brim. They have hundreds of cats, hundreds of dogs, and that story replicates it throughout our 9 branch office markets and all the animal organizations that we support. In addition to them, you've got other groups, foster groups, advocacy groups, everybody helping and supporting, but it nowhere tips the iceberg. The need is that great. And now representing shelters, on behalf of all the shelters and animal groups we support, is Diane Broccoli, and Diane is the executive director of the Stephen Swan Humane Society. Oh, and everybody focused on Gizmo, but we never introduced John Treen. Sorry, John. John is the shelter manager at Stephen Swan Humane Society, our official dog handler, and he was kind enough to break away from his very overwhelming duties and bring Gizmo today. So, Stephen Swan Humane Society.
Stephen Swan Humane Society cares for over 2,000 abandoned, unwanted, and abused animals in our community each year. Throughout the years, trends in animal welfare have changed, and Stephen Swan has become a no-kill shelter. With that comes extraordinary financial burdens. And with the help of our community is the only way we can meet those demands. Anita Vitullo and the Staffworks Charitable Fund have been partners with Stephen Swan for many years. Since 2009, they have given Stephen Swan over $258,000. Without Anita's work and her partnering, there is no way we could succeed helping all the animals we do in our community. We are grateful for Anita and her dedication to animal welfare, and her generosity makes a difference in the lives of animals in our shelter and the way we operate every single day. Anita will never say no to an animal in need. If you know Anita, no is not in her vocabulary. You are an inspiration to all of us, Anita, and thank you for securing the future for our animals.
And I would be remiss in having these remarks closed without pointing out the team that supported me to get to this point, and by that I mean actual hands-on guidance, and that is the Community Foundation team. I am the only fund in the organization that supports animals. And at first I thought when I came here, there's so many human needs, they're not going to really be interested in my cause, animals. Boy, was I wrong. The enthusiasm my ideas are met with is unbelievable. Nick Grimmer and I go out to the animal organizations and speak and give presentations to their boards. Giles, I put through his paces, calculating down to every penny. And he's come out with me to boards to present. And when you bring the power of that team with you and the knowledge that they have, unbelievable. And we have Lindsay Costello, who through the years has been the donor advisor on the fund, and just the hours they work. And we have a lot of others here, like Jackie and Kelly on the PR team. And we have John Husney, who coordinates everything for us. Who else is here today? Morgan? Who am I missing here? I don't want to miss, naturally, Kelly. Let me see. Board chairs are here. John Swan on the Community Foundation team, and the board chairs, the board directors that give of their free time to provide guidance to this organization. Would you stand, please? We have the board chair here, Eve, and who else is here? Dave Menzelman, who we already introduced. Mike, you're one. Bert. Yeah, there's a lot of chairs here. Who else? Who did we miss, Alicia?
No other, that's
Okay.
it for trustees.
Okay, for our trustees. So, the story is, to get to 10 million, it takes the whole village. And I've had far more than that in the support of the people in this room. And unbelievable, it shows that animal lives really do care in our community, really do matter in our community, and our community really rises up and shows their concern and their care. So I encourage you to look for our next chapter in this mission, because it's coming. Thank you very much.